Welcome to TruckYoo podcast. My name is Sebastian. Today, our guest is from the beautiful state of Virginia, Clarence Jessie. He's been an owner operator since 2010. He did some lease purchase. He ended up buying his own truck. We talked about a lot of stuff that Clarence went through to get to where he's at right now. Let's dive right into it. Clarence, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We were just chatting about a lot of things, and I wanted to record right away because you got some good stuff to talk about. Can you just introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Okay, my name is Clarence. I'm an owner operator. I currently run intermodal, but I'm primarily an open deck specialist. So I do anything from step deck, flatbed, RGN. I was doing heavy haul up until not too long ago, but I decided I wanted to get back in my own truck. So I stepped away from being a company driver doing that to, doing that. So as of right now, I'm going to do intermodal just to get things back where I need it.
Perfect. So tell me, we were talking about multiple things, lease purchase. I know you did. We'll get to that, but I want to start with the question that I always ask everybody. What made you decide to become an owner operator? And looking back, what would you do different, or what is something you wish you knew before you started?
Honestly, from the beginning of my career, I decided that's what I wanted to do. I just didn't have a specific time frame, but I knew that's what I wanted to own my own business. I've been saying this since I was young. I'm an independent kind of person, but I was like, working for somebody is okay, but I ultimately always wanted to do it. But if I was to go back and talk to 19-year-old me when I first started, I would probably tell myself, hey, go in with a plan because I didn't have a plan when I first started. I just kind of was like, hey, I'm just getting my CDL. I'm gonna just go with it, but have a plan, save up, and learn as much as you can, not just about the industry, the lanes, but about trucks, the different motors, the different trucks, how, because every truck is different, every motor is different. So I would have just got more knowledge and learned ahead of time. So I would have been able to make, I'm not going to say better decisions, but faster decisions and probably shorten up the time to do a lot of things such as like lease purchase and, things like that.
But you did pretty decent amount of homework, didn't you? How what did you do when you realized it? What helped you get the knowledge about trucks, and what was something that was helpful for you before you bought a truck? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Okay, so my first truck actually came from someone I was working for on and off since I was 21. It was a truck I drove as a company driver, and even before that point, like soon as I hit 21 and I was working for him, he was basically teaching me. He was like, "Look, you need to learn how to do this, this, and this." He taught me how to do a lot of the mechanical work when it came to everything. We did PM services, wheel seals, transmissions. We did everything but take out a motor. Even though I assisted with rebuilding the motor, but by myself, I never did it. But he basically taught me for, I want to say, up until like 2 years ago, because then he really said, you know what? Hey, you kind of got everything you need. So he just kind of guided me and helped me along the way, even though, like crazy part is I left the company multiple times. Being young, like I said, it was 21. So I went and I wanted to try lease purchase. I wanted to try and, do this, do that. Like I tried different divisions because I wanted to find exactly where I felt like I would be happy. I started out flatbed. My first 2 years I couldn't leave the state because I was 19. So it was flatbed for the first 2 years. So when I hit 21, went to Western Express, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna try dry van. I never did it. I tried that for like 3 to 6 months, and I was like, nah, I really don't like it. Went back to him, went back to flatbed, and then wound up getting introduced to doing tankers, and wound up hauling hazmat, like we were hauling for the military. So we was hauling like diesel fuel, JP5, and we were doing different things like that. So I kind of was exploring different areas in trucking, but ultimately I just had my love set on flatbed.
Flatbed is a good
Yeah.
niche to be in. I agree with you. But is there anything? So you already said that you wish you learned about trucks, so that's great.
Yeah,
And you learned that by doing pretty much with help of others.
yeah.
You were learning by doing, right? By trying to
Yeah.
fix stuff by yourself. What was the first truck that you got?
It's a '06 with a '05 build date Volvo VNL 630 with the D12 motor and 10 speed.
Okay, so that's the truck you still have, right?
Yeah.
And why did you buy that truck?
Honestly, my old boss, because I drove it as a company driver, and one day he called me. He was like, "Hey, how you like that white truck?" I was like, "Yeah, I ain't have no problem with it. Drove it everywhere from Maine down to Florida, over to Texas, up to Minnesota, and all the states east." Said I ain't have no problem. And at the time, I was actually doing a lease purchase with the company JLE Industries Enterprises. And my wife called one day and was like, is your brother at the house?" I'm like, No, I just talked to him. He's in Texas." She said, "The white truck is parked outside." I was like, "What you mean?" So I wanted to call him my brother, which it was the owner of the company, was his uncle. I was like, "Hey, what's going on? My wife talking about the white trucks at the house, and you're in Texas, so what's going on?" He straight up, I'm talking about, it was like a 5 second response. He said, "Call my uncle," and hung up on me. It's like, okay, so I called his uncle, and I was like, "What's going on with the truck being in front of the house?" He said, "Well, you said you liked it, and you've been telling me since you was young you wanted to own your own truck. So basically, he's like, hey, when you get back, whenever you get back, you give me $1,000, and you just pay me every month until the truck's paid off." And he only charged me 10 grand for the truck, and I paid it off in like 2.5 months.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's not only an awesome uncle, but that also was a great deal, huh?
yeah, man. And like I said, the truck. And the craziest part, most people, they was like, "Man, the truck already got 1.2, 1.3 million miles on it. You don't want to buy that truck. You're gonna need an engine overhaul. You're gonna need this. You're gonna need that." And I was like, "Well, I just put the last 150 on it as a company driver, and I never had any issues. Never been on a wrecker." He did a lot of work to it, like kingpins, all the whole brakes, drums, slack adjusters, S cams. He did the overhead on it. Like, he did all that work before I got it. So when I got it, all I needed to do, like cosmetically, I painted the frame and put new tires. That was it.
Nice. And is it a 13 speed manual?
10 speed. I wish it was
And
13.
10
It's
speed.
10 speeds.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
fine. They for what you do, the 10 speed is fine. For
Oh
intermodal,
yeah.
well, the 13 with 13 speed overdrive, that's good for long haul OTR type of work,
Yeah.
right? That's great. That's great. So you still have the truck, and you have probably what's the mileage on it right now?
Uh 1.46, like right under 1.5.
Okay. Yeah. And I asked you that question because I knew the answer because you asked me in our trucking business group
Yeah.
about overhaul, and I told you no. If you don't have blow by, you should be fine.
Yeah.
The truck's running fine, right? You still have
Oh,
no blow by. Yeah. So you're about that mileage where those D12s are gonna start showing you some
mhm.
signs of maybe you're gonna have to think about overhaul. But I think I recommended you do an oil sample. Were you
Yeah.
able to do that?
I will
Did
be
you?
doing that. I would say within like the next 2, 3 weeks when I do the oil change on it.
Okay, perfect. That's good. And the other thing I would recommend is do an overhead adjustment on it. Make sure the valves are
Yeah.
set. Those D12s are, as soon as you do it, you'll feel I don't know when it was the last time you did it, but that's something that's really going to help you on fuel mileage.
Close to 100K miles.
Yeah, 100,000. Yeah, yeah. Just do it once
Yeah.
a year. It'll be fine. Oh, so
Yeah.
perfect. All right, good. So how did we've been through some crazy times the last couple 3 years, I would say, with
Yeah.
the market, and I applaud you. You're still in the game, and that is
Yeah.
something that a lot of owners have been struggling with the industry. A lot of companies been it's been rough, right? So you've been doing great.
Yeah.
Tell me about your like, how do you stay profitable? What do you do specifically to stay in business and to be able to operate?
Well, most of the time I really was just doing flatbed, and I just kind of did what I felt was needed. as far as, you know, sometime I drop down, shop the flatbed, pick up, containers, or I might do hazmat. I just kind of, as the older guys used to always tell me, you got to kind of move with the motion of it. So when certain things switch, I did whatever was needed to be done. But staying profitable, it really just like my biggest thing is my overhead is low at home. So I just realized, hey, if it's a good week, it's a good week. If it's a bad week, it's a bad week. I didn't really stress it. And the fact that I don't really have crazy payments on anything, it was just like, so hey, I just took the good with the bad. And if it was a bad week, then hey, so be it. I just move on to the next.
That's a great attitude, right? I tell drivers that want to get into it, having your low overhead at home, your budget set, that is such
Yeah.
a key thing, because some of the drivers that I've helped and experienced at my shop, they would be forced to do certain things as owner ops, or maybe try to chase more money as an owner op,
Yeah.
because they had such massive overhead at home and the spending and the lifestyle,
Yeah.
that it's never a good place to start. When you have your home stable and not a lot of overhead and you don't have to worry about stuff, that is what helps in the business as well, because then you don't have to stress about that part at home, right? Do you
Yeah.
do any type
That's,
of budgeting? Are you doing some type of budgeting? And maybe
yeah.
tell me, that would be my first question. I have a follow up for that. So do you have some kind of strategy as far as your budget and how you tackle that?
Yeah. So basically, my personal expenses, I can maintain off of, I'm gonna say between like 600 and 700 a week as, a driver for myself.
Yeah.
But the most I try to do, I just try to spend as least as possible, just take care of, the necessities, all the bills, and the rest just put it in savings for a rainy day.
Yeah, great. And what are you grossing right now? What's your top line revenue a week? Like what are you bringing in as far as what are you grossing?
Okay, so being leased on, I'm gonna say a decent week. I'm around normally like five, but after fuel and whatever, the gross to truck is around five. So I'm gonna say after everything's said and done, you still can look at three to the company. So
Okay.
I
That's good.
normally,
That's what I was
you
looking
know,
I was looking for, that top number. I like before you take fuel, like the gross,
yeah,
because you still have a company take a cut from you because you leased onto somebody,
yeah,
right?
yes,
Okay,
sir.
and you do 20s and 40s intermodal, or what type of intermodal work do you do?
Yeah, it's 20s and 40s. Occasionally, like if it's certain customers, they have 53s, but normally just 20s and 40s.
Okay. And where are you located, Clarence? What state?
Oh, in Virginia.
You're in Virginia. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Well, so, and how has it been for you lately as far as cadence? And have you been driving full 5 days, or how are you seeing as far as loads and work?
Uh, it hasn't been a full 5 days. Like on a good week is four, because as everyone knows, like half the time, customs got this box on hold, this on hold, and so if they don't have anything on hold, it's a 5 days. But anytime it's on hold, it can go anywhere from like 3 to 4 on average. But if everything's released, let's say on a Friday, we got a full 5 days.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good. That's good. And so we talked about a truck. So what's your plan? Are you gonna keep your truck? Are you gonna you haven't did you say you have another truck? You have two trucks?
I did. Um,
You did.
well, I know I'm currently driving a different truck because I'm working on mine for like
Mhm.
2 weeks. But I bought it was a 1990 Volvo WIA with a 34.6B,
Okay.
and I wound up throwing a ride through the block with that. So then I came back to my original truck, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The D12 outlasted the other one. So
It does. Those are really good motors, and there's a lot of Volvo haters. I disagree with a lot of it. I've had a lot of D12s. I think they're one of the best engines. Cummins was part of developing that engine as well. So Cummins did a ton of
oh,
work with Volvo on those engines. Those are one of the most reliable engines Volvo ever produced. and then obviously D13 you had the swapped layout,
Mm,
and it's based on it, but it's completely different. But are you
I
think you're
don't
gonna
like death.
yeah, those DEF emissions, I think you're 100% right. Have you thought about, are you gonna, you think you're gonna keep it, you're gonna overhaul it? What's your plan for your truck?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it, overhaul it, and probably throw a 13 speed in it and switch out the rear ends. I don't know what, ratio I'm going with, but I want something that be a little better on fuel mileage, and
Okay.
then something else, because I believe it's the 355 or
It's probably, if it's a
somewhere.
10 speed, it's gonna be 355s, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to just switch it out just so it can be an overall. Because, like I said, I plan on going back to open deck, so I just want something that's more flatbed friendly.
That can pull a lot of, because I'm
Yeah.
assuming flatbed for where you're at is running a lot of heavier, I guess, right?
Uh, Yeah, sometimes. But the problem
Although
is,
those 20s and
depending,
40s are going to be heavy, because I do some in Charleston and Savannah, and some of that stuff is heavy as hell.
yeah, like last week, well, not this week, like Monday, I think it was what, 47, 41, and I want to say maybe like 30 on the last one. But
Okay.
they're normally in the 40s.
All right. So you think you're gonna overhaul it? How's the rest of the truck? Is it holding up pretty good as far as everything else?
Yep. Nothing else has issues, but I know when I overhaul it, I'm just replace, of course, like the main components, air compressor, AC, radiator. When I overhaul them, just replace all of that. So everything got the same mileage.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me about some of your challenges, Clarence. Tell me, when you think about your career as an owner operator, what's something some of the challenges that you try to tackle, like, and how did you solve it is what I'm looking for.
Uh, I want to say the biggest challenges I had was just moving too fast and making basically like split second decisions when I first started because I had guidance, but I didn't have the guidance, but I was also younger, so I kind of didn't listen to what people were saying. I just make fast decisions, like buying my second truck, making fast decisions, and I should have just listened and slowed down a little bit and just took my time instead of feeling like everything's a rush because, I had to look at it like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So if you
Mhm.
gas yourself out real fast and when you start getting the halfway mark, it's just like, man, I don't got enough to do this. Like, and of course, there's times where, because of the decisions I made, it was just like, oh man, should I even continue driving? And like right now, I'm at 12 going on 13 years, and it's just like, I'm glad I didn't give up, but it definitely, I put myself in a lot of positions where it made it harder
Yeah,
to
you and
be
me, brother.
easier.
Trust me. The doubts always come, and you have many ups and downs, and the
Yeah,
downs are very brutal because you're like, why am I doing this? This is crazy. I didn't make
yeah,
any money this week, but sometimes, and then you have an upswing, and then you're like, oh wow, that's actually
yeah.
satisfying, and you're happy you're doing it. And again, I told you, I really appreciate not only you sharing your story, but also I applaud you for being in business still and fighting, because
Oh yeah,
any business is like that, right? Any
yeah,
business has ups and downs. Nothing's easy. Everything is hard. But you're an owner operator. You're a business owner through and through, and you're making it. And you, what I like what you said in the beginning, when you said you did what you had to do,
yeah,
right? Because that's something in my position. I oftentimes you think everything's just going to go the way you plan, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, things hit you that you never expected, and the things that you planned for never actually materialized. Nothing, because you're
yeah,
planning for, all right, this is going to happen, maybe, and then all of a sudden you get hit with something like a baseball bat over your head, and you have to figure out a solution to the problem. That so again, thank you for sharing it. Obviously, that's something to other owner operators and drivers that are trying to get into business. I want them to hear that, because nothing's easy, but I think owner operator business is, I think it's satisfying, right? I think you're contributing to me. It was important what I'm hauling, what I was helping and moving
Yeah.
freight and cargo. And yes, it's going to get brutal with the truck. But I think you're a great example of starting with the right truck could really make it a lot easier down the
Yeah.
road than starting with an emission truck, and maybe not necessarily emission truck, because obviously
Mhm.
you've watched some of my videos about emissions, so you've did
Yeah.
a lot of that homework, right? And you chose the truck that I was talking about. I talk about on the TruckYoo channel a lot.
Yeah.
But the point being is picking the first truck and the tool that you actually do the business with is really, really critical. And it's either going to make you or break you, because again, you have a paid off truck. You can work on it if you want. You can find something else. The move with your backup truck was a good move, because I did the same thing. I right away had a backup truck in case something goes wrong with the first one. I just bought the same truck. I literally just bought another D12 that somebody else was driving, and then because I already knew, I mean, I by then I already knew that those D12s were very solid trucks that could go to 2 million miles easy. So
Well,
you
this
just
one
you
is a
should have
little different.
stick you should have stuck with your and buy a second truck that's also a D12.
Well, the one that's sitting outside the door is a 2000 with a 12.7 in
Wow, so that's a 2000 with a Detroit 12.7, which also is a good truck. Did you buy
it.
that,
Yeah.
or where'd you find that?
No, it's for a family member. They just
Okay,
let me use it because it was just sitting. So you just like, oh man, you could just use it,
well,
have fun.
maybe yeah. That's a great deal. Those
Yeah.
12.7 Detroits. That's my. I don't know if D12 is probably number two. I think 12.7 for me is the king.
Yeah, no, that's the only two motors that I would want. Like, I try to convince a lot of people and say, look, between those two, just from my personal experience, because like I said, I've done the lease purchase and I've driven, I want to say just about every motor that's out there. I just don't trust any other ones. There's only the
Claire,
12.7 or yeah, or the
go
D12.
ahead. Sorry, I cut you off. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Can you tell me your experience with your lease purchase? You don't have to go into details. You don't
Yeah.
you have to just tell me what are some of the lessons that you pulled out of that.
Well, for me, I'm not gonna say I actually had great experience with all mine, except for I know is what's the name of the company? Celadon.
Mhm.
I was actually with them when they shut down. I had a great truck, but every lease I did, because I did a few of them with different companies, not shocking. I actually had a great experience with all of them. My thing was before I actually got my own truck, that was my way of kind of looking at it and figuring out if I was able to do it. Because with the lease purchase, you have help, but you don't, because they basically be like, hey, you make your own decisions. A lot of the companies I went to, either I had a load plan or I dispatched myself, so they let you make or break yourself. And that was my opportunity to look at it like, hey, if I'm a be an owner operator, let me see how it would be. I got weekly calls. Let me see what the upkeep of the truck would be, how it would be if I don't have breakdowns, how it is when I have breakdowns, good weeks, bad weeks, and I just took it all as a learning experience.
Great, great. So nothing really stood out to you as far as negative experience. What year was it that you did the last lease purchase? How long ago?
2020, 2020,
2020 is
yeah.
5 years ago. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
were okay. So you started during pretty much COVID times when the market was pretty good and the rates
Well,
were strong as hell, right?
I actually started in 2016 leasing. I just
Leasing. Okay.
bounced around, yeah, doing the lease purchase from 2016 until 2020, and then around the end of 2020, I got my Volvo.
Okay. End of 2020, you got your Volvo. So, but what made you bounce around between the leasing companies? What were you looking for?
Really just like the first one was a reefer company. I hated it. I, I couldn't do it. Then I went to flatbed companies that was doing it, and sometimes it was just the company just wasn't the right fit for me. Which that's what a lot of people need to understand. Look, every company's out not gonna work for everybody, and I just knew it wasn't a fit for me, so I just tried something else. And like I said, I was young. I was only what 20 when I started in 2016 doing the lease purchase. I was 22, so I
Oh
was like,
wow. Okay.
I got years ahead of me to kind of figure out what I want to do because Just like companies will fire you, hey, if I want to, go do something else, let me find something that's going to make me comfortable or that's set up for my life. And that's basically what I did.
That's great. You started very early, and look at you. You're still young, and you have all this
Yeah.
experience now under your belt, right? That's
Oh yeah,
awesome.
man. I'm actually only 31, and it
Uh,
surprises everybody because when I tell them, yeah, I already have 12 years, I'm going on 13, they be like, oh yeah, you close to 40. No, I'm only 31 and started at 19.
yeah, that's
So
great. That's great. Tell me, if you were talking to some guys that are trying to get into being an owner operator, what would be your advice?
I would probably tell them, really just take your time. Don't rush it because trucking's not really going to go anywhere per se. You just got to be smart, make the right decisions, save up, save as much as possible because anything can happen. And mainly if they get an emissions truck, that's costly repairs. So you just
Yeah,
save up and be smart. Like if you have to stay as a company driver, or like I told some people, you can buy a truck while you're being a company driver, work on it, fix on it until you get it 100% ready and then put it on the road. There's no rush to, hurry up and get it, man. You could buy that truck. They got parking spots where you can pay $100 a month. Just go park the truck. There's no rush.
that's a great advice. I agree with you. Is there anything that, can you tell me some kind of a crazy story that happened to you? You have so much driving and mileage under your belt. Give me some juicy story that happened to you that was kind of crazy.
The craziest thing I would say that, well, it's not crazy. For me, it was scary in the moment because I'm originally from Louisiana, so I didn't really know about snow on the West Coast, and I was at a company, and luckily I had tire chains. I get up, I'm in Colorado, about to go up a mountain, and of course, I seen blinking lights, all trucks pull over. I'm like, we almost in a whiteout. I'm like, okay, what's going on? State troopers like, you got to chain up or turn around. I looked at him. I'm like, I never used tire chains. I didn't know how to do it. I literally sat there for, I want to say about 45 minutes to an hour. I went and watched other people do it, and it was an older guy. I want to say he was like in his 50s or 60s. I just walked up to him. I said, "Man, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bother you, but I don't know how to put on tire chains. I never used them. Never been trained. Let me see how you do yours." And he literally showed me how to do it. Then he came up there with me, made sure I did them correctly. We went through the mountain together. I'm talking about you can barely see 10 feet in front of you. We went through the mountain together. He literally stayed in front of me the whole time with his flashes on. I followed him. We went up the mountain, went back down, and came to the spot where we took him off. He helped me take him off and everything. And, that was probably the best thing ever because I didn't know what to do that day.
Wow,
I, I
what a
was
great
I was
trucker
just
helped you,
froze.
man. Was he an owner
Yeah,
operator? Was he an owner op? Do you know?
I didn't even ask. I didn't even ask. I just know he had I'll never forget, it was a Peterbilt 379 mid roof. He had big stacks on it, nice truck,
Probably an
and
owner op. Yeah.
yeah, he had it all. I was just like, I don't know why I just walked up to that truck. I was just like, man, it was nice. It was nice. you know.
That's awesome. Wow, what a great guy that he just, helped
Yeah.
you out with that and got you over it. Wow. That must have been scary because I've driven through some crazy stuff, but never through a massive storm like that through mountains.
This thing, it was only at the top of the mountain. Like come through Colorado, it was fine. But it was like I can't remember exactly what highway. I would have to go look at the videos. Literally, you'll go up. You can look up and you see everything is just white. Soon as we went, I want to say a quarter mile up, it was horrible. Yeah, it was bad. Then you get on the other side of the mountain, it was completely
Nothing.
dry, nothing. I was like, yeah, I see why they say you need tire chains over there.
Oh yeah, everything west of Denver, pretty much you need chains. But
Yeah.
that's a good one. Clarence, tell me when people can find you. Do you have Instagram or any social media that you want to share?
I have like TikTok. I don't
What's
really be
your
on. I don't
wh-
post as much, but it's. Joker Jesse. I'll have to send it to you. Maybe you can link it in because I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's
But
fine. You're also in
yeah,
our trucking business community. So
yeah,
if anybody wants to join our free group, go ahead, go to truckyoo.com and sign up. And you're there. We're talking all the time. And I
yeah,
appreciate you being in the community. I know it's not only a place for owner ops to talk and exchange ideas, but I'm there and
yeah,
I appreciate you doing that. I know you've been watching TruckYoo for a little bit as well. So
yeah.
what? Say it. What's on
Oh
your
no,
mind?
it's been 5 years. Like I know it was like I said, if anyone doesn't really know, man, if they go back to the older videos and just sit there and watch, like sometimes I just literally I let the podcast just keep playing just with different people talking because you get a lot of different perspectives. And then it's like just the information that you get as far as trucks, maintenance, just it's a different outlook. And even with the truck group that we're in, it's just like you'll see somebody will post up a question or, oh, this is what's going on, and you see different people giving them different perspectives, or hey, look at this, try this, try this, try this. It's just that's what it's really about that a lot of people miss. The
Yeah.
industry, everybody is really a crap in the barrel mentality, but when you have a place like where we're at, where we are trying to help each other, because with unity, we can do a lot better than everybody being separate.
100%. And
Yeah,
that was always my dream to have a community of owner ops and help each other. I wish I had it when I started. I know a lot of
yeah,
owners tell me we wish there was something. I thank you for saying that because you are the example of watching all of the free stuff that I post on TruckYoo and all
yeah,
the videos we did me and Jose and anybody
yeah.
that contributed. And I'm glad it's working because you're not the only one. I keep talking to drivers all the time, and I'm glad it works. And I'm hoping it's gonna only get better and better. So, thank you so much. I appreciate you again, and
Yes, sir.
we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for listening. If you are an owner operator or a truck driver, join our free group at truckyoo.com. I'll see you there.